And good afternoon, welcome to the Saturday preview with myself, Dave Massey, coming to you at about just after 1:30, 20 to 2 time, Friday afternoon. We're the first look at tomorrow's racing from Newbury and Doncaster. No idea what sort of ground we're going to be racing on at this point. It's going to be different from it is today, that's for sure. Particularly, I think, at Doncaster, where it's going to be pretty deep, actually. It's been raining here in the Midlands for the last 5 hours now here in Nottingham. It's not stopped. Started at 8:30, still going, still to the same intensity. And we ain't that far far south, I should say, of Doncaster. So I would imagine they're going to be getting some of this as well later on. Be interesting. Obviously, we'll be able to see on the old telly box in a bit, live from Doncaster, how bad it's going to get. Newbury as well is due to get some rain, and the winds are getting up as well tomorrow. It's not going to be pleasant working conditions, which is lovely for me because I'm going to be at Newbury if it's on. If it's not, I'll be at Southall tomorrow night. As I say, the racing tomorrow, we're a little bit of a guessing game as to how deep exactly it's going to get. I'm sort of playing on it being heavy really at both places, I think. And with that in mind, the Newbury card makes limited appeal for a bet. The Veterans Handicap Chase is the first race that's on ITV tomorrow, 2:05 this. Don't really see a bet. Theatre Guide came back to form last time when narrowly beaten by Japek and was second in this to Carlos Destre last year, a pound higher this year. It would sort of suggest that, a good run is in the offing from Theatre Guide, but he's hard to win with, and he's been pretty well found already in the market. He's around about a sort of 9-2-5 to 1 chance on the early shows, which I don't think that's a great price. Similarly, the one I fancied was Joe Farrell, who's taking a bit of a drop in grade here after a 7th in the Ladbroke Silver Trophy / Hennessy last time out. £2 lower handicappers give him a couple of pound drop for that. Does he really want the ground dead deep? I don't know. He acts with some cut, but I don't think he wants it really deep. And although this is an easier race, the more I look at it, the more I just think it's a race I'm happy to pass over. I just think the market's probably found the right two, and I don't really want to have a bet. The 240 is the 2 mile handicap hurdle, where I would think Le Ligérien is going to go off favourite off the back of 2 wins. One here at Newbury went absolutely hacking up from Fibonacci, and then made reasonably light work of it at Haydock, beat Flamboyant Jurier. I'm not sure what that form's worth, but he couldn't do any more than win it. Certainly won't mind however deep the ground gets, but another £10 on his back here. Asks a new question. Effectively 15, because Ben Jones rode him at Haydock, so effectively he's got £15 more on his back, and that might just be asking a bit too much. I thought Miranda, I'm a little bit worried about the ground. I think Miranda's, wouldn't want it hock deep. If he came at hock deep, that would be a massive concern, but I thought Miranda's recent form stacks up really well. Beat Elusive Bell at Kempton, and although Elusive Bell reopposes tomorrow on better terms, and you can give her a real chance at the weight of turning that around, I thought Miranda was well on top of the finish. And then ran just as well at Musselburgh, if not a bit better, when third to Sebastopol. I think there's more to come from her off this mark. I just worry that the soft ground in Newbury, the two together might do for a form so far. Her best form has come on, all come on quick right-handed track. So this is a different test for Miranda, but there's more in that mark, definitely. It's just whether tomorrow is the day or not. Kaj won't mind the ground, but the handicapper's got him bang where he wants him off 135. Champagne City was second in this last year, got beaten under a length off a mark of 133, £2 higher this time around. But again, another one I don't think wants the ground very soft. And it's been a pretty mixed bag this year. I say mixed bag, it's been a poor bag in truth, of sort of chases and hurdles and not really performing. You sort of go down the bottom of the handicap. Again, Nordic Combined, another one that will probably act on the ground, but I don't think he's this class. It's just another race where I'm sort of looking and thinking, do I really want to sort of get involved with it? And the answer is probably no. I don't. Unless it's not dreadful, in which case Miranda, I think, might come into things. Then we've got 2.5 mile handicap chase, and again, similar to the last race, you've got the likes of Gala Ball here, who was second in this race last year as well, taken to San Benedetto off a £6 lower mark. Likes Newbury does Gala Ball. Plenty of good efforts to his name here, and there wasn't a lot wrong with his Warwick effort behind Clondor Castle. It sort of suggested to me that he's still in form. Your problem is this mark. I think it's probably as the handicap has probably got him. It's as high as he wants to be, I think. A race again that you look through though, and you're struggling to find sort of angles in. San Benedetto is in this race, but a mark of 150 for him. Again, it's £3 higher than his win last year. It just looks high enough to me. Bags Groove's never been a horse I've been particularly in love with, and he's coming back off a very long break. Benny's King trip for me, dropping back to 2.5. I think he's probably the right thing. They tried him over 3 at Wetherby and 2.5 at Ascot, where he nearly got home. I think 2.4 exactly is his trip. I think he's got a squeak. And then further down the handicap, you've got the likes of Not Another Muddle, I'm sure he's using this as a bit of a warm up for the festival again. Was 5th in the Grand Annual last year. Tikur, who only wins at big prices, often gets underrated, Tikur, but again, you're now looking at a mark of 130, which will be as high as he's ever won off at the age of 12. Right down the foot of the handicap with no weight to carry is Enrichissant, I should say. Now, there was a word went round for Enrichissant at Huntingdon last time. And my word, was it ever right? Absolutely hosed up by 18 lengths in heavy ground. So we know full well that the ground is going to be a bother. The trip's not going to be a bother. I don't think going left-handed is going to be a bother either, because he ran perfectly well at Sedgefield the time before. The main concern is that was a 0 to 115. This is a massive step up. This is a 0 to 150 odd. What was it? Tops 153. So this is a huge step up for Enrichissant. But he's only 6. He is improving. He's at the right end of the handicap, and he's got no weight, and he won't mind the ground. Balancing the sort of 2 out is tricky, but I think he's probably the best at double figures if there is one in the race. I'd be willing to chance it, I think, at double figures, given he's got no weight. The class is a concern, but not enough to put me off, I don't think. And I'd be happy to sort of have him on side. Over at Doncaster, we've got 4 races. The Grimthorpe is the big race of the day there, but before that, we've got a handicap chase over 2 mile, where they put Dolos in. They put Dolos in favourite for this at 3 to 1. Now, I like Dolos, as you know, and I was all with Dolos at Sandown last time. This isn't Sandown. His last 3 wins have all come right-handed, which I think he prefers going right-handed. I said that at the time. I think he's also he's happy going right-handed. That was a career best at Sandown, but he's now off 161 tomorrow. He's got to give lumps of weight away to decent horses. I just wonder whether it'll find him out tomorrow. He is the class act, but maybe if this was at Sandown, I might be with him. But back left-handed, I don't know. Gino Trail half caught the eye. First run for Fergal Bryan. Marker 146 is very workable. Ground can't get deep enough for him. He's absolutely fine. It's just what ability remains after these last couple of starts. Interesting, but not enough. Not interesting enough for me. There's a couple of JP horses in here. Jerry's back surely going to find this. I don't mind the angle of horses dropping back in trip, on bad ground that have got stamina to get them through it. But surely, even Jerry's back's going to find 2 mile on the sharp side. Joke Dancer looked out of sorts at Sandown, and I saw him in the paddock at Haydock before that. He just looked in need of a break. I thought Joke Dancer maybe, a month off will have done him good. I thought if there was a bet in the race, it was Cat Poli, who I was quite taken with when he won at Wetherby in January. And then I don't think he stayed 2.5 at Warwick last time. He travelled as well as anything in the race. Came there to throw down a challenge between 3 out and 2 out. But as soon as he sort of got there, you could almost see the stamina run out. No sooner had he got there. I think he's a bare 2 miler that wants a bit of a pace on. He'll get that tomorrow. He'll get something to chase. And when all said and done, he's only had 5 chase starts, so there's probably more improvement to come in him. He's only a 5-year-old. He was always made for jumping fences. Those who, again, who sort of take my missives on a regular basis will know I liked Cat Poley a lot as a juvenile hurdler. He was always sort of, then you knew he was going to, he was a lengthy sort that would always make a nice chaser. He's only had 5 chase starts. He's won 2 of them. You can make a ready excuse for the Warwick run because it was too far. You can probably make a ready excuse for when he was made favourite at Taunton and blew out because he jumped left all the way around. So, you know, he's back left-handed tomorrow on soft ground, which is no problem to him at all. A track he should like, and he's at the right end of the handicap. You know, similar to Henri Chant before, this might be a bit tougher than races that he's taken on, but I think he'll go well. 9-1 on the early shows is a fair price for Cat Poley. Then there is a mares listed novice hurdle, which I would imagine Silana even is going to be a pretty short price for, and probably wins. I know there's the dead 8 in the race. Trying to find something each way against it is tough. You've got 1 or 2 yards here that are a little bit, I'm not quite sure where we are with them form-wise. They've had the odd winner, but equally they've had some that have been short prices that have run badly. In Venetia Williams, she's got Eleanor Bob in the race that's second in. And Early Morning Rain, Jamie Snowden did have a winner at Ludlow the other day, but again, a few of them have run poorly from the yards. I'm trying to find something each way against them is not easy. Possibly the bottom one again here, Ziggy Rose, 20-1 plus, might be worth a look with Paddy Brennan on board. I think there's more to come from her, and she'll give this a good go from the front. They held her up here a couple of runs ago, and I don't think that suited her behind Cockergon West. I think when they tried her from the front last time at Ludlow, rode her more prominently, she looked a lot happier. So if there's an each way bet in the race, it's probably Ziggy Rose, but you'd want the dead 8 to stand up. You wouldn't want anything to come out. And then the Grimthorpe. Yeah, I mean, the obvious one to look at is Boldmere. Again, a horse that's done me a favour in the past. Ought to be 3 from 3 in his last 3, but unfortunately came down at the last at Weatherby. That was a bad fall, that was. It was quite a heavy fall for Boldmere. He's £5 iron. I hope he's over that. Was only 3 or 4 weeks ago. If he won, I'm not surprised. But equally, I'm not entirely sure I want to get involved. Definitely Red certainly has the class, and a mark of 156 is probably workable for him. First time cheap pieces, see how they go in them. Just wonder whether he's now lost the winning habit a little bit. St Xavier only beat a small field at Kempton, and then was readily turned over by IK Brunel in a couple of novice hurdles. I'm not sure that form's, not sure if that great. Again, the market's probably got it right with Worthy Farm, who it has now clicked since he put the blinkers on. Last 2 runs, has looked a different horse, both at Wincanton, both in heavy ground, but has always looked Worthy Farm, even when he was over hurdles, like an out-and-out stayer. So I think this 3-2 on soft ground will suit him right down to the ground. He's up another £7, but again, very much like Cat Poley before, whatever he was doing over hurdles, you looked at the size of him and thought, you know, he's going to prove a stone and a half better over fences, and that may well be the case. I think he's the right favourite, 7-2, Worthy Farm. I find him hard to knock. He's got plenty in his favour again tomorrow in what is a, you hate to say an ordinary race, but it's an ordinary Grimthorpe. There's nothing really in here that, you know, that sort of jumps out at you. There's a few horses taking their chances, but nothing I particularly want to get involved with. So I don't think there's going to be many. I don't think there's going to be many bets tomorrow. Probably only a couple, I think, prices, maybe 3 at a push if the dead 8 line up in that novice, that mare's novice listed hurdle. Otherwise, it might be Henri Chant and Cat Poley for me. As I say, I've done a blog for Goodwin Racing as well. If you want to check that out, they're on Twitter. And I've looked at Southall tomorrow night, put 3 up for Southall tomorrow night, which is might be where I end up if Newbury gets called off. We will see. Who knows? Cheltenham just around the corner now, 10 days away. Hoping obviously that events outside of racing do not conspire to get the festival off. I don't think it will at this stage, I have to say. I know the next sort of week or so is pretty critical. But we go through these things and we do tend to sort of blow them out of proportion a little bit. So hopefully, let's say, fingers crossed, and we can get Cheltenham on. Guys, thank you very much. Have a great weekend then. I'll be back next week when we start looking at some of those Cheltenham handicaps. Great fun. Cheers, guys. Have a good weekend.